what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy the NFL Combine.
I think
Sunday, Texas State.
However
Getting
anybody
underway.
wants to say it, they can say it.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll agree with that. I agree.
Yeah.
It's my First Amendment right.
NFL Combine week getting underway this week, which is always an exciting time. And I got to say, I don't sit there and watch the Combine, but I do love social media Combine highlights. Mm-hmm. And it's not to even say like it's no sort of commentary to me as to whether or not they will be good at football or not, whether or not I would draft the guy, but I do think it's tight watching someone who's 270 pounds do like a 12-foot broad jump, run a 4.40, like a 40-inch vertical while putting up 225 35 times. Like I love that kind of stuff. So I don't like overdrafting based on this stuff, but I do like watching whoever these like top performers are, just seeing the numbers that kind of boggle the mind about what the human body can achieve from a size to athleticism standpoint. But the news may be relevant to our audience is that it came out that Jayden Daniels will not be throwing at the Combine. He will be in Indy. He will be doing meetings. He will not throw. I'm guessing that means he's also not going to run. He'll probably save everything for Pro Day. And it's the same thing that Caleb Williams is doing. And so we'll start it there. Is that the correct decision for Jayden Daniels?
I mean, I think I would run.
Well, sorry, I should say, I don't know if he said anything about running yet.
Right. And if he's not throwing, probably not. I mean, probably not going to. None of the top quarterbacks throw at the Combine anymore. They just don't do it. They're throwing to somebody they don't know. They don't know how somebody runs a route, and they don't feel like it puts their best foot forward. And I understand that. Going back to, like, even when I was at the Combine, like, forever ago, the top guys like Matt Ryan and those guys didn't throw. And it's become more and more the norm, T, that those guys don't throw. So what are you smirking at? I don't like that.
Sorry, I was smirking. No. I was smirking because
like
I felt like I could hear Taylor's diaphragm filling with air as he wanted to yell, "But Baker Mayfield threw!" But like I don't know. Is that were you gonna? No, but then I kind of looked over and I didn't actually see him doing it. So I left it alone.
Assumed. But I mean, to your point, like Baker wasn't really considered like the runaway number one pick. I mean, a lot of people were surprised when Cleveland made that move.
Yeah, so maybe even him, maybe he had more incentive to throw.
Yeah,
than some of these guys.
But I think Jayden Daniels can roll out of bed and run a 4.4. I mean, I feel like he's that kind of
even
fast.
On that electronic time.
I do. I mean, just the way he pulled away from Florida defenders, and those are Florida defenders. They're not some little state U school. So I think he can roll out of bed, run a 4.4. But what's he want to run? What does he want to go out there and show? And he feels like maybe he can do that best at LSU's Pro Day because. Think about this. Would you rather throw, if we're going back to that, would you rather throw at Indy to guys you have no idea who they are?
Yeah.
Or would you like to come back home and throw to Malik and Brian Thomas Jr.?
I mean, exactly.
That's
right?
easy.
Like, that's the thing is that you're throwing to guys you can throw. In football and quarterback play is so much about timing. He can throw to those guys with his eyes closed. Versus having to kind of microwave relationships in a couple of days. And it's not like the scouts really care, right? Like you could say it's risk averse or whatever. I would say that, well, yeah, sure. But also like we all in life tend to do whatever we think we can get away with. And if Caleb Williams and Jayden Daniels can get away with not throwing and still be the top two quarterbacks taken, that's what they're going to do. And for Drake May hasn't even confirmed that he's going to be in Indianapolis.
Right.
As of yet. Does that leave a door open for Drake May, do you think, to gain any ground if he's like, well, I'll go up there and I'll throw?
No, I don't think so. Like because Chicago's got the first pick. Chicago is not going to draft Drake May number 1 overall.
Yeah.
Like it just not going to happen.
Sure.
Not after the last time when they took a North Carolina quarterback number 2 overall and your boy Mitchell Trubisky, and it just didn't work.
I didn't like
Right-
Mitchell when he was drafted.
Right, wrong, or indifferent,
Just
like those two are going to be grouped together for that team and that franchise. It's going to either be Caleb Williams or they're going to trade out. And that other team could trade up and maybe select Drake Maye. I don't know who's in love with him, but it ain't going to be Chicago. So maybe he can solidify number 2. He ain't going number 1.
Well, and speaking of trading up, there is a lot of smoke that the Las Vegas Raiders are thinking about trading up to get Jayden Daniels. And I know that, for many years and for good reason that this would be a death sentence for most. But no, it probably still is potential. But I mean, look, Antonio Pierce, maybe he's finally the guy to get that right? They don't go with Rich Bisaccia. They learn their lesson trying to chase the Belichickian ghost. Now they go with the guy that the players seem to support. I don't love it for Daniels that he's kind of a defensive-minded head coach. I keep looking at Tua and the switch from Brian Flores to Mike McDaniel and what happened there, but that's, I'm kind of getting into a lot of projection there. I will say this. If Jayden Daniels goes to Vegas and makes them consistently respectable or does a very good job, that would be, it is undeniably badass, right? To be wearing black in that giant Death Star of a stadium in that city. If he makes them an actual good NFL team and he's putting up crazy stats, like he will immediately become one of the biggest names and one of the coolest players in the entire NFL.
Gross.
I know it hurts you. I know it hurts you because of your AFC West, your AFC West experiences, but
The Raiders are like the Phillies and like the Florida Gators. Ugh.
The only problem with the Vegas portion of the equation is how many hardcore Raiders fans do you actually play in front of every weekend? Or is it a transient thing where everybody who's in town just like, oh, let's go to the NFL game. You just got a bunch of hodgepodge of people showing up.
I do have to. I got to give them credit. They typically have fans almost wherever they go.
Okay.
Certainly in that portion of the country.
Shout out
it
to
probably
Black Hole.
changed a little bit being in Vegas because there's so many people that are probably there just for a Vegas trip and like, hey, there's an NFL game this weekend. Do you want to go? There's probably something to that, but it's not like the other team's fans are there.
Would the Raiders be the worst team for you of all the teams that Jayden Daniels is being kind of rumored to?
Raiders or Falcons? That's a tough race there.
Yeah,
I think maybe Falcons might even be the answer because we would have to talk about him here and talk about how the Saints can beat Jayden Daniels.
Yeah, I can handle him doing well in Vegas. I can't handle him becoming the next Michael Vick in Atlanta.
Because even if he's good with the Raiders, it's
Becoming
still
a
the Raiders,
cultural
and they'll find a
phenomenon.
way. But yeah, I don't need another version of the Dirty Birds. I don't need that.
No. Even the Giants, they don't love being in the NFC. But if you want to go
I
to
don't
New York,
love
that's
it.
fine.
I don't love Giants.
He could be really good there, though. The Giants could probably be good if they had a good quarterback. Even Tommy Cutlets had them feeling a little, had a frisky couple of weeks there this past season. So look, I don't think it's a big deal that Jayden Daniels is not throwing. Again, Jamarcus Russell didn't throw, and then he went and just absolutely blew away Pro Day, and look what happened there. And if you could say, oh, he's afraid of competition, well, his main competition is not throwing either. So that's a moot point. But in a funny sign of again, we all get away with what we can, and then we do what we must. Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., J.J. McCarthy will all throw at the combine because they have to, and they're still competing to outdo one another.
Penix and Nix, their stock went up after the Senior Bowl, right? I mean, a lot of people liked what they saw from
Nix
them.
Came
So it's
out a big winner there.
yeah, so it's
Penix.
if your stock continues to rise, why not go throw?
Yeah, that's fair.
I think there's a group of quarterbacks that are after those first three where you're going to have, let's put 4 or 5 quarterbacks in that category. You're going to have one star from that group. I think there's going to be, I don't know who it's going to be, but there's going to be a star quarterback that's going to be.
You're talking about from that second tier?
From the second tier.
Penix Jr., Nix, McCarthy. Would anybody else be in there?
You can throw whoever.
Maybe not quite, but maybe a little bit below him is Michael Pratt. I mean, people like him as a prospect too.
You're going to have one. You're going to have one from that group that's going to be a multiple-year starter in the NFL in good standing.
So Combine, though. Getting underway. When was that? Tomorrow? Is tomorrow when it starts?
Today.
Okay, so today you're starting to
get
show
there
up for
today.
meetings,
Yes.
right? And maybe Jake can take us behind the scenes as the week goes on as to what exactly goes on in the combine. Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.